Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is Ben, the human.
Are you the dog in this scenario?
No.
Is that the implication?
No, I'm not a dog.
My faithful sidekick?
No.
I mean, it was a sidekick joke or a bitch joke. I had to do one or the other. We're talking about Adventure Time.
We are.
Because it ended like yesterday.
Yeah, it just ended.
Or the day before or whatever it was.
2 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. After, was it 10 years?
10 seasons.
10 seasons. Oh, yeah. They've done like multiple in some years. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only like 8 years.
That's still like, I mean, that rounds up to 10. It's basically 10 years. 8 years? That's 10 years.
Yeah. Well, because at the height of its popularity, they were just putting it out all the time.
Yeah. I remember buying, like when it first started, I was still actually buying seasons of things like on iTunes now and again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, it was season 5 that I bought on iTunes. And that's the one where they put out 52 episodes instead of 26. And iTunes is like, fuck you, you have to buy it again. Because I was wondering why the hell I wasn't getting new episodes. And they split it into 2 parts. I'm like, fuck this. And then I turned to piracy. So, you know, I tried. I tried to be a good person. I'm like, I'm not fucking paying twice for a season. Not my fault they made it 52 episodes. So, yeah.
It's all your fault.
I mean, hey, everyone, this guy's trying to buy the series. Fuck him.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's how the world works.
Well, man, where to even... I don't even know where to start. Like, where's the best...
I don't know where to start.
Like, do you want to start with, like, the wrap-up and then talk about the rest of the series, maybe? Since that was recent.
Sure. Again, a lot of it's recent to me because I had to catch up.
Yeah. How
the
deep
build-up
are
to
you?
it?
Like, how much did you need to...
A lot. I think I was in season 6.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hefty chunk.
I think. Now I don't even remember if it was. Also, I had a couple false starts because I thought I was even earlier than I was.
Yeah, that's fair.
That happened a couple times. I'm like, wait, no, I watched this. Where was I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still really mixed on the finale. There's spoilers, by the way. There's gonna be spoilers in the. Yeah. I don't think there's.
We did a whole episode of Cartoon Network's history, sort of build up to this. So if you care about background stuff, maybe listen to that.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna give a spoilerless review of the series finale because.
Yeah, no.
Like
the point is that we
a
watched
film or something is different. Yeah. It was. I think I read a review somewhere that called it like an enjoyable mess, and I guess that sounds pretty accurate.
I mean, it's kind of the whole series. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like watching it all, it felt very appropriate and like a good time to end. I like the ending for sure. I would say the later parts of the series hold up, are like surprisingly good considering how much it relies on like revelations about stuff constantly.
Yeah.
Of like explaining stuff that didn't need to be explained.
Yeah.
But they found stories to tell about that stuff that were fun to watch. So it never actually broke, but
see,
that's a idea of where to go that could easily have gone bad.
I get like I get what they were doing, and they were doing it intentionally, and I just disliked what they were doing, kind of. I really wanted more closure, I guess, with like what happened to people, or like even just Finn's relationship, because we had some stuff with like Huntress Wizard. I wanted like more of that stuff, or more of a coherent timeline, I suppose, like more of a thorough summation of things that had happened. And like that's fine. That's not what they're doing. That's okay. But I wanted the people, like, especially early on when they started doing like the big shot season openers and finales, explaining more of the world, like that shit's great. I was 100% down for that. So I guess I was kind of expecting more of that, which is entirely on me because there was no indication that it was going to be that. But I like a lot of the stuff it did. Like, I think it was a very good episode, even just like in a bubble. I think it's a really solid episode.
Yeah, I didn't know how much more they had. My thing was, like, I felt like by the time we get to season 10, I didn't know how much more they had to do, considering all of the wells they had already, all the holes they had already filled in, and whatever. I felt like they were kind of. It was time for if their focus was just on filling out the mythology. It seemed like definitely seemed like it was time for it to come to an end, because they had stopped like making new stuff.
Yeah,
they definitely climbed over the hill a while ago.
Also, I really wanted the Lich to come back, just because I wanted more Ron Perlman.
I mean, he's very good, but I feel like the last time you see him, where Finn's like, "I've killed you like 5 times." I'm like, yeah, like we could be done with the Lich. It's been enough, and that they didn't want to. They wanted to leave Sweet Pea as Sweet Pea. Means.
Yeah, that's.
Which I think was a good choice. Like, one of my favorite shots at the end of this series was him as like an adult.
Yeah, him being like 1,000 years old and like fucking massive. Yeah, no, it's a good one.
Demon sword, that was good. Because that's like actually a lot of the future stuff that I like the most. Is just give me one frame. Like, give me one shot.
Yeah, give me those shots. Yeah, no, it was that was a good thing. I don't know, man. Of all the things in this series, in the entire show that I will like consistently go back and watch clips of on YouTube, it's just Ron Perlman. It's just him doing a little monologue about like, before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing, and before that, monsters. Like, that's a great fucking scene. That whole thing is
good.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so good.
I think it's also, you get more of the. They'd also done more of the Lich in the comics, which I've read.
Okay. See, I haven't touched those, so.
Yeah, I read it until the writer changed, and then I think it ended. But I think they're starting a new comic. I could be wrong about that. It could have kept going forever, and I just didn't know. But I think that's what's happening. Because I know they're doing more comics after this. Is like how it's going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just felt like they ran out of stuff.
I mean, it's been going for so long.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I guess I don't know exact. Maybe like season 6 is where it started a bit more, but like certainly season 1, 2, and like most of 3 and 4 or whatever, like it was super episodic. Like, it was crazy episodic, and then eventually they kind of reined it in and had some more, like, at least themes going from episode to episode. Like, they had stuff kind of going in the background, and then they'd have some filler episodes, but like, I don't know. At one point, I think Peter wanted to watch it, but he just wanted like the meat of the series. I'm like, all right, so you can like skip all of season 1 if you want. There's pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
but I think it hit its stride after a while. Like they found that good balance, though. I don't know. In like the end of in season 10, it just gets so intense with like the Gumball War and everything. Like I guess it felt like it was coming to the end because it just did so much that was connected in one shot, kind of.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was that so much of what the big plot stuff was, like explaining stuff of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've gotten Finn's mom, we've gotten Finn's dad before that, we've gotten Marceline's vampire history, we've gotten Princess Bubblegum's secret brother, past stuff, we've gotten Jake's secret birth. Like all the major characters had their stuff. We'd had like most of them. We had a lot of the other characters sing the opening for the big story thing.
Yeah,
going into the final season, and I even expected more build up in season 10, like or whatever, the last season, just because like the previous 2 seasons had mostly been like one story each with a couple episodes here and there. I kind of expect them to build more stuff up to then have stuff to resolve for the finale, and there's not even much of that.
Yeah.
So there was really just the Betty Ice King stuff as far as stuff to close that was open, really.
And finally had to get that Marceline bubblegum confirmation. That was important. That was good.
Yeah,
they did it.
I mean, that was clearly.
Do you know what
they had built up for a long time?
Do you know what a more solid way to do it would have been?
What?
Just implying it and having them disappear into a pillar of light.
Nope.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was nice to get that one, just because. Yeah, it's like.
I mean,
what, season 2 is the first time that we get a bit of an inkling of that, or whatever.
Yeah, the reason that's better than Korra is because they built it up over the course of the whole series and gave us the emotional, important moments, which we never even got in Korra.
Yeah, but Korra was funny because they both were like, "Fuck men, am I right?" And then, then it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. Korra, though. Whatever. We're talking about a better show. Well,
this is a better show than Korra.
Yeah.
It's much more consistently what it is.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Adventure Time is that it starts out as just fucking crazy nonsense and then just takes that as a starting point that then builds on until it's like all about plot and structure.
Yeah.
And I find that a worthwhile thing to I find that fun to watch. Like, I can take whatever bullshit you want to throw at me, but just then build on it, and you've kind of got me. Like, honestly, Adventure Time, if I had watched this when I was a kid, it would probably be like my favorite thing in the world, instead of just a thing I really like.
That's fair.
Because I'm
there were
not Finn's age.
Yeah. It took a while for some of it to grow on me. Especially when it came to like episodes more focused on some of the, like, I guess not even be like the C-list characters. Like, it took me like 7 seasons before I was like, yeah, Tree Trunks is all right, I guess.
She's like, so creepy.
I know, dude. Like, the entire first and second season, I'm like, these episodes could fuck off. Tree Trunks is I don't like this. I'm unsettled right now, and I just whatever. But now I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do this. This is fine.
Yeah.
I think it helped that she got like other characters to be with her, because
when she got married, she calmed down a bit.
Yeah, like when it wasn't just her.
Yeah.
Is what they needed. But a lot of that stuff.
Well, again, a lot of that early Adventure Time stuff I was seeing through the lens of what Cartoon Network had been doing building up to it. Mm-hmm. So it made way more sense that the way it was episodic, and like it just made sense as a outcrop of that was better than the stuff that preceded it.
Yeah.
Like Adventure Time is starting in a world that's like completely defined by SpongeBob. So
that's true.
But also it's also kind of mattered the time it aired, because it would air like right at the end of Cartoon Network's block before Adult Swim would take over. So it was positioned to try and like be a lead in to some of that stuff with its kind of dumb humor sometimes.
That makes sense. I had never known that, but I could easily see that.
Yeah. So that was definitely, I think,
intentional
success and maybe an intention. I don't know if they knew when it was going to air going in, but that was how they marketed it for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think I mean, okay, I guess I'll back up to the series finale. Very clearly, I assume that you expected them to sing the theme song, like when the music hole was like, "Yo, I thought up this song."
Yeah.
I like somehow didn't see that coming. Massive disappointment. I was expecting like this new song and stuff. They're just singing the theme. I'm like, okay, that I should have. I don't know what the fuck I expected, but
also, it's the name of that whole story.
Yeah, I know.
So
like it
was definitely coming.
I mean,
the title card is a butterfly and a bee.
I figured it would be there, but like, I'm not a huge fan of that song. Mostly because you hear it every episode. So yeah. But I was
watching it in a form where a lot of times it would cut off before the credits, or the credits were so abbreviated that you would hear it anyway. So
I think, like, I guess I'm comparing it to Steven Universe in terms of like the music, not the background music or anything, which is also very good, but like the songs that they sing and the occasional like musical bits they do. I think Adventure Time is still probably the best for that.
Well, I think Adventure Time was better while Rebecca Sugar was working on it, before she left to make Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the peak of the song quality in Adventure Time.
Okay.
I would say.
See, with Steven Universe, like, they're good. Like, they're absolutely fine. I just think there's a lot of it. And
honestly, my problem with Steven Universe at first was there wasn't enough, considering I knew it was Rebecca Sugar's creation and that she had written like all the best songs for Adventure Time. So honestly, my first impression of Steven Universe was disappointment. There wasn't more music.
Yeah. And like, I think I like a lot of the stuff in Steven Universe, but some of the things they've done a bit more recently, I'm like, all right, we can, like, this could have ended like 30 seconds ago, and I would have been totally
I'm not
happy.
Caught up on it at all.
Like, it's still very high quality, I think, but I'm just like, Adventure Time gives you those little snippets where, you know, it'll just be like someone singing while they're doing whatever. Yeah. And I'm down for that, instead of like, all right, we're going to pause the show here and we're going to sing a full like 2 or 3 minute song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like. Like, it's just kind of a little casual sounding thing. Does that very well. Also, I was looking at some of the earlier stuff just because I haven't turned on season 1 or 2 in probably like 5 years or whatever.
And his voice is completely different.
Yeah, yeah. And there was one of the early episodes. He like like the character Finn obviously has he has like a fucking like he swallowed a computer or something, so he's doing like auto tune stuff. And I was just remembering how like when I first started the show, I saw this episode and I'm like, what the fuck? Did I miss this? How many episodes in am I? Like, I had to go back, and it took me such a long time before I was like, nope, they're just doing stuff. He swallowed a computer at some point. Okay. But I just, like, the way they reference it, I thought for sure I was missing something. Like, I thought I'd skipped a lot. Nah. And from then on, like, I had to realize what the show was, and then moved on with my life. Because I don't think I started watching it until, like, probably 2012, I think. Yeah, I started watching it like midway through season 5 because I was waiting on like the second half of season 5 when I was caught up.
I don't remember where. It was pretty early, I think, when I started watching it, but it wasn't the beginning.
I just remember because of the iTunes bullshit. It's literally my only
I think there were like 2 seasons or something when I started watching. Okay. A lot of the stuff was, I remember, happening in the moment. Like the peak of it.
Yeah. I do kind of want to like go back through it now just because it's been so long. And like the little After I'm like, okay, they're singing the theme song, like this is gonna happen. And they're doing like the little clip show stuff. I'm like, this is a pretty nice show. Like, this was an enjoyable ride.
Yeah. Oh. I like the show, and I kind of loved it from first blush, and then again because I understood it in context, and then like. Because, like, and if you look at the pilot compared to the show is so much better than that pilot.
Yeah. I think I watched the pilot, like, once. It was rough.
That is a pilot. That is a rough outline of stuff, and not really anything of what the show became. I'm trying to figure out, like, the point where the show became much more about expanding rather than growing. I can't figure it out.
For anyone watching who might not know the difference between those two, certainly not myself, what would you say the difference is between those?
Oh, I mean, in terms of the show, like, introducing new ideas and characters rather than going back to familiar stuff and sort of to try and deepen its mythology and give you more insight to like the flashback stuff.
Okay, so
like the first time you find out that Ice King is Simon, that's a deepening. That's not necessarily, and particularly, and the second time you go back to it, that is now longer not the show growing. That's the show deepening.
Okay,
I would say, for the most part. They're like little small details of growth, but it's less about that at that point.
I would say season 4, season 5.
I think season 5 is kind of where it.
Season 5 is definitely the one I have like more in my mind, because then you have like you start out with like the Finn the human, Jake the dog, like that parallel universe, and
that's a good like. That is a good pair of episodes of just like.
Oh, dude, hell yeah!
The Finn the human is so good. We're just like, oh, the world is just entirely different.
Yeah, no, it's fucking it's good stuff.
Oh,
and that was like
Marceline,
and I think is it? I don't know if it's Oh, I guess it's season 4, maybe 3. I'm trying to look at the episode list here to get like my thoughts. Okay, yeah, season 3 didn't really start with it, but starting with like the finale of season 3, that's like okay, I'm going to be looking really forward to all of the like season finales and then like each new start to a season. Like they're all bangers after that, I think. They're all just great. Yes. And maybe that there's a little deviation, but that's when they started making like, yo, we're gonna hit hard on the beginning and ending of a season. And obviously like, some in between. But I just remember going back and I was looking at the same ones from 1 and 2, and it's like, okay, it's a normal episode. There's nothing different.
I mean, season 2 has a big finale episode, but there's just another episode after that.
Yeah.
There's the showdown with the Lich, and then there's another episode for some reason.
Yeah. I just fucking I seeing the shorts thing here. Did you watch the Minecraft episode?
I did.
That was a thing. Like, it's fine.
I mean, I kind of lump it in with the thing that's actually my least favorite thing while I was watching the show, which are the guest animator episodes.
Sure.
And I particularly got annoyed as like later on they would like intermingle. They would start it out with the regular animation.
And then just
and I'd be like, no, you tricked me into spending time on a guest animator episode, you bastards. Because they're they're just always so boring. Mm-hmm. They're so boring. Like,
there's the one that I like. It's the one where he's like reincarnating or whatever. He's like a butterfly. Finn is. It's like all this trippy shit. I can't remember what season it is or whatever, but it's just. It's actually like I don't think anything really happens, but like it's good. It's pleasant to look at the very least.
Yeah, but they started doing them at the point in the show where it's like, if I'm watching Adventure Time, I'm like hungry for plot stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what the show is at that point. And then like there are these incredibly disposable episodes where there are like no emotional stakes at all. I'm just like, oh my god, why? I just always found them super boring. And then they started to like, I just immediately, because I've noticed the trend, I was just like immediately skeptical as soon as any future one would happen. Like I probably can't even give them a fair shot at a certain point. Also, most of them are non-canon.
Yeah.
A couple of them are canon, but most of them are non-canonical because they don't, which is part of the problem where they don't matter.
Okay, I found the one that I was thinking of. It's Food Chain, season 6, episode 7. Yeah. Directed by Japanese anime director Masaki Uesa.
Yeah, I find it super boring.
That's fair. The other ones I'd absolutely agree. They did one right in my mind.
Yeah. Okay, it was early in season 6 was where I had stopped and had to catch up from.
Okay.
Because I'd watched the Lemon Hope episodes.
Dude, I do not like the Lemon episodes for the most part.
I thought you were a Rick and Morty fan.
Those early ones are fucking rough.
They are. Those were the ones I'm like, man, this kind of humor.
Yeah. Fuck. Like, he's just yelling.
Justin Roiland. It's just so much yelling.
And
then... I don't love.
Like, that's lore I didn't need to know. I didn't need to see you create a lemon person, and then I didn't need that to be expanded on either.
Yeah. I liked them as just little moments. I didn't need full episodes.
Yeah.
Like, when one lemon grab eats the other one, that's pretty good.
Yeah, when there's the fat one and then
when there's the fat one and the skinny one. Like, that was an interesting idea. But, like, the Lemon Hope stuff was not. That was a weak 2-part finale. Really.
Yeah, no, that I did not care about that at all. Yeah, that was God. It's so terrible. And then I don't think I encountered it in person ever. But I just remember seeing a bunch of like posts places or like people that I talked to that were into it would always like yell or yell quote unquote in like a messaging chat or whatever, like unacceptable, and I just heard it in my head every time and I didn't want to hear it.
No.
I'm like, you guys gotta stop. It's not that good. it's
not good at all.
No. I think I maybe once someone tried to like mimic it in person and they weren't drunk or Justin Roiland, so it didn't work.
I mean, it doesn't really work when Justin Roiland does it either. So,
but like, yeah. I mean, imagine that, and then imagine the off-brand version. Ugh.
Oh yeah, it would be worse.
It's gross.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, that was also part of added to trepidation about watching Rick and Morty because of knowing him playing that character first.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, the other people in real life I've encountered who know of Adventure Time mostly dismissed it because they'd known annoying people who liked it.
Oh, dude, yeah, I don't blame them. I do not fucking blame them at all. I've jumped on that train with so many things.
Yeah. It's just interesting, really, with it and Rick and Morty. I never really knew the annoying person who liked it. I just knew the people who knew. Like, it was all secondhand. Just a lot of stuff for me these days.
Rick and Morty's in a weird place for me for that. Like Adventure Time, I've encountered more people like after the fact. Like at first when I was super into it, I was like, yo, I want to talk about this with like everyone.
Yeah.
And then after I got out of that phase, like occasionally I'd run into people who I'm like, I don't like you, and also you have like 18 Adventure Time keychains on your backpack. Rick and Morty though, like my friend group was all at a restaurant eating, and people were actually having that conversation about how like, no, it's deeply philosophical and like nihilism and blah blah blah. I'm like, or it's not at all.
Yeah.
Consider. So that was, I'm just like sitting there eating, like not joining in the conversation. Like, guess I can't like this anymore. Like, well, no, I try not. If I did it, if I hadn't started the show at that point, I probably would have not started it. Is one of those. Yeah. But since I was already like, yeah, this is a good thing, then it was too late.
Yeah. Plenty of people like things that are good for the wrong reasons. It happens.
But no, Adventure Time was...
Never talk to anyone ever.
Yeah, no.
It'll just ruin things you like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I guess, I don't know. People aren't... Even in general, people don't seem to be talking about Adventure Time as much. Like, usually if I see something that's kind of in a random place, it'll be Steven Universe, at least just with the people I know and everything.
I do feel like Steven Universe kind of ate its lunch on that, just in terms of like the pop culture talk around a show rather than not necessarily like actually people watching stuff. But like,
would you say Steven Universe is better? So I guess based on what we have so far. Like, or is it just it's different enough that it's not worth
I don't know. I would say Adventure Time inherently appeals to me more. There's just stuff about like Finn as a character that's just a character type I really like.
Yeah.
More Steven Universe is probably better, but Adventure Time appeals more to me.
Sure.
So I can't. So it's hard for me to say that.
Oh, that's totally fair. That's a good answer.
Also, like, every flashback to, like, the Great War in Adventure Time, of, like, when there's a scene in the finale when Marceline thinks about the old war and it's just her as a small child standing in front of burning buildings.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, that was...
Like, I really love how Adventure Time is post-apocalyptic, but still, like, just kind of... people are happy, people are living their lives, it's fine. It's not like a gray wasteland, but it's...
yeah, it's like candy people.
Like, yeah, but...
living bubblegum.
Terrifying. The world ended, but then it kept going.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Or how it's like, they're all mutant candy people, but then in the parallel universe episode with, like, Finn the Human.
Yeah.
And then the bomb goes off and it's like all this green, like, soul whatever shit, and it's terrible. But also candy people. That's pretty great. No,
also, Marceline is probably my favorite character out of those shows. So, and her voice actress, her singing, Olivia Olson singing voice, I just like better than basically anything else. So that's also part of it.
I might be inclined to agree. I really like Huntress Wizard. Like, I wish she had not come in so late. Because that was, like... even, like, relationship stuff aside, which I'm a fucking slut for in shows. Just, like, her character was pretty great. I don't know.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
It was pretty good. And I like druids and shit, shockingly.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you like Huntress Wizards.
Dude, even be like, I could probably dig up some chat logs when I was talking to Peter. I'm like, yo, there's like this background character and we need more of her. And then she like got a real role and I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And see, that's why I initially, like, after I discovered Steven Universe was the thing and I'd like binged 2 seasons of it, I was like, yo, this is like Adventure Time, but I think it might be better. And a lot of that reasoning was because the whole like Stephen Connie thing, like, again, slut for relationships. And it was really good. And they've like kept going with that. Honestly, I think the thing that has kind of like at least balanced the scales more, and maybe after like going back through Adventure Time, that might be a little higher on my preference list. I really don't like their art style changes. Like, that's something going back to the first season, and it's like, yeah, okay. There's like, you know, they're doing their art style thing, but it's whatever. And then everybody is like a third of the size they were in the first season. I don't like that. I don't like little small characters. Nah.
It made everyone cuter.
They went for like a chibi thing, yeah. I don't know. It's like it shouldn't affect the content of the show, but also I gotta look at the show. And that was one of the that's one of the things like with Adventure Time. Like they didn't really change the art style. Like they crisped it up a little bit, but it's not like crazy. Also, all the background shit is so good. Like, just TVs and whatever. Like, I remember really early on, I was trying to, like, you know, you don't really know, starting with, like, the first couple seasons, you're not getting all of that back shit. But you're like, does the world end? Is this, like, our world but a parallel universe? Like, why is there TVs and shit in the middle of this forest that appear to be broken? Like, all this crazy stuff. And boom. Turns out
it all gets explained.
Yeah. Though I do like how they didn't have that idea until the businessman episode. Like, man, these businessmen just showed up. What if there was a reason that they were, like, frozen? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. I love how Adventure Time like starts as just throwing whatever at the wall, and then like a pattern forms, and then the show's all about patterns and cycles and
you gotta
structure and plot.
Yeah, you gotta see. I think if it would have kept...
grows up, like I like the way the show ages.
Yes,
like that Finn ages.
For
the
sure.
show is moving like that. That's the other reason the show has to end, is because Finn is 17 by the end of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that the finale where Princess Bubblegum is like, "You've gotten so tall"?
Yeah,
and I was like, that's great. Like that simple interaction that just lets you know, like, yo, he's not like 12 or whatever the fuck he is when it starts. He's not Ash Ketchum.
He's not Ash Ketchum. No, that was they decided that early on too, that they were gonna let him age, and that put a timer on the show for sure. But I think that's to its benefit. I think it's good that it built to a point where it could end as a TV show.
I mean, my problem now
because it makes it a more. Because then if they do more with stuff with it, like the comics, it makes that stuff matter more. Then it's just an endless thing.
Yeah.
Like if it was just a show that kept going, I probably wouldn't have revisited this way. But as a thing that is ending, that's more like, oh yeah, I like this thing. I'll see that through to the end.
Dude, 100%. Like, assuming that ratings allowed for it, they could have just done the episodic thing for eternity, like SpongeBob, and tried to milk that as much as they could. I'm starting more and more to appreciate things that actually can end. Like, I guess, like the Good Place I've started watching, which I've mentioned. Like, that's a show that should end. They're doing good stuff, but there's a story. And that story should come to a close instead of lasting as long as they can. Like, Steven Universe, that has stuff in it that, we shouldn't do this for another 5 seasons. I wish Adventure Time would have done like
it depends on the, like, how many ideas the creative team.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Adventure Time is a good example of how to follow it, because it, like, somewhere around halfway, it reaches a peak of new idea stuff, and then just is now, like, they have a skill level that they can in making episodes, but they have good stories that are sort of there for them to tell when they want to, and then they just kind of go through them.
I guess also there's, like, I would say that 10 seasons is quite a lot. I guess, at least to me. Like, obviously it's not SpongeBob or Simpsons or anything, but
yeah,
it's a fair bit. I think if they wanted to just tell, like, the meaty stuff, like if they just wanted to explain that, they probably could have knocked that down in, like, what, another 2 or 3, maybe 4. Like, they could have shaved 3 or 4 seasons off of it if they didn't want to do, like, the fun, silly stuff. So, I guess they did hit that good mix for, like, yo, this is where Marceline came from. Yo, Tree Trunks wants to bake a pie. Like, you gotta get that balance. And I suppose that's, I'm like,
root beer guy died. Oh, now he's back as a dirt zombie.
I'm like, I would say I'm developing my opinions on this, like, as we're doing this episode. I think that is what, I mean, so far what Adventure Time seems to do better than Steven Universe. Maybe because there's just way more of it so far. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, Adventure Time has, like, the benefit of having its, like, whole world, in that it's like the real world, but everything is like different because we're in the present, whereas Steven Universe has like the gem world, but then also just normal Earth. So I don't know. It feels different in terms of like how you build out your mythology. I don't know.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
I mean, it's probably too late now. They could have gone to different worlds. Like, it's implied that they colonized other planets other than Earth. You have like an entire galaxy to work with.
It's true.
Sort of. It's a bit wide, but it's a thing they could have done. And see, that's...
I mean, Adventure Time could have done more with the multiverse. Like,
yeah.
I think it's good they didn't. There's only so much of that you can do before it becomes like... And that's a good thing to save for comics. Whenever you need another multiverse story or whatever. There are Lich Hands in all those other worlds.
Oh, no. But then you don't get the Ron Perlman voice acting.
What are you talking about? In the comic, you mean?
Yeah.
You're right. You're correct.
Each comic comes with a little, like...
You just have to imagine it, man.
Yeah, easy enough. You know? If we bust out that, like, Ron Perlman...
probably just play over a clip from a different episode.
No. We got that... Peter has that fucking audiobook cassette that Ron Perlman narrated. We can just splice some things together.
Nice.
Top notch.
Beginning there was nothing, and before there was nothing, there were monsters.
I mean,
it's such a good line.
If we splice just a little bit, we could get that line, but before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing. Before there was nothing, barbecued chicken and ribs. Oh, what a fucking world. I still can't believe that exists. So much potential, and yet nothing. Yeah. Adventure Time was a good series. I need to get the rest of it. Because I don't think I never downloaded anything past season 5. For whatever reason, I just decided to stream it, because that was easier, I guess. So...
I think I own seasons 1 and 2 on DVD.
Okay. Did they do like... I think they did some of this with like Steven Universe. They have like weird collections. Like instead of season 1 or 2, they'll have like a collection of episodes from like across a few seasons or something.
They did that too, yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like I tried buying them on disc at some point, and I found that instead and was like... Fuck this. It's not what I want.
Yeah, they did like a Fiona and Cake collection.
Sure, that makes sense.
They did a random... They did done a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, they have enough for it, yeah.
Yep. Because you want to get, like, just, it was popular. They want to get that shit on store shelves. And
oh, no, for, like, kids? Forms. 100%. Yeah. If your kid is like, yo, Fiona and Cake, all right. You know what I'm getting them. Real easy.
Oh, that's true. We never got an episode about where the Fiona and Cake signal was coming from. It was getting beamed into Ice King's brain.
What? I've forgotten about this, apparently.
Like in the last time they did a Fiona and Cake episode, there's that rabbit that's pretending to be Fiona. And she has like a cassette tape of Fiona and Cake. And that episode ends with like a red beam of Fiona and Cake stuff being beamed into Ice King's brain while he sleeps, which is where he gets his ideas for his fanfic, I guess.
Huh.
But apparently it's a TV show somewhere from some time.
I mean, I'm sure we can find something that the
important
fandom
thing
is
none
together.
Of that matters.
Yeah, no. Just like, fuck it.
Just like, it's the thing with like all the Adventure Time mysteries or stuff that's unknown. It's like, it doesn't really matter to find the answer, but if they've got a good story to tell, about revealing it. There's drama there that's worth exploring, then it was worth doing episodes on.
And see, that's like with the finale especially, like, it answered almost none of the questions I had, and it definitely should not have done that either. Like, the thing I wanted would have been a not great finale for that show, I think.
I was afraid it was gonna just be. I was glad it was as open as it was, just because.
Oh, that's the point.
Part of the point of that show is just life goes on. So,
yeah, adventures keep happening, man.
Yeah. I was honestly, the thing I was surprised about is how little about Finn's future we get.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even have an arm the last time we see him.
Yeah, no, I would have liked a little more. And see, that's what was like, we had a montage of like some of the characters, but I was hoping we'd see like a little bit more. Like, give me Finn and Huntress Wizard like drinking tea together or something. Hook me up.
I feel like that's saving for the comics kind of stuff. Kind of bullshit.
I mean, yeah, keep me posted on that. Let me know what's up.
Yeah.
That feels like an episode.
That feels like an episode. Yeah, I don't really.
Unless there's anything that we missed. Probably.
Else, no.
Well, probably will be in like 20, 30 minutes.
Probably.
But,
But yeah, no. Again, I also liked how the other thing that appealed to me, I will say, is how the show is built around cycles of stories. Like, I just like that kind of storytelling thing of like this stuff repeating itself and figuring out ways to not make it repeat.
Yeah.
That's always good stuff in my book, even. And I think this did it better than, say, Naruto or Game of Thrones.
I wouldn't know. You pick two examples that I wouldn't know about. Because I don't watch Game of Thrones podcasts or listen to the TV show.
Yeah. I mean, it's like about that for like one speech. It's not really about that. Even so, it's fine. All right, that's an episode. So, you can email us, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on soundcloud.com/saltcircle. Find us on Twitter @saltcirclepod, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts Salt Circle Podcast, and I'm on Twitter @comicpanels.
And I'm on Twitter @bean_LP. With Hank the dog and Ben the human, the fun will never end. It's Salt Circle Podcast.
Nope. Fun's over. Bye.